Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with my friend Skeptic Infidel, aka Jamie, which we actually met at Faithless Forum, and apparently you have a power outage. Oh no, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone's my room is set up so that I have a mini fridge in here, and it has to be set up on the same breaker as my computer, and so whenever the refrigerator kicks on, it shuts my screens down for about 2-3 seconds. So sorry about that. I can unplug them. I can unplug it if I need to.
Was there anything in there that's going to go bad, or
no?
No sour milk, or
Nah, that's all in the main fridge. This is like my personal cubby that I put like my leftovers and my alcohol in.
Gotcha.
But I'm currently out of alcohol. I'm having to steal my roommates.
We were talking about that beforehand. Well, Jamie, what I do here is I chat with folks about their journeys away from their previous belief system. So I kind of ask people to sort of take us on that journey from the early days to how you found your way out of it.
I was actually thinking about this a lot this week, and I realized that there's like two branches to this story. There is the religious branch, and then there's the educational branch. So which would you want to hear first?
Let's go with the religious one first. Okay.
So religiously, I basically grew up in a cult. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Church of Christ. It's big in the Southern United States, but like it's a lot of people I talk to, and they're like, wait, you too? So very small, very conservative. And what made it even worse is that my mom is, I can't, technically diagnose, but I'm pretty sure she's like some sort of narcissist. And so she basically used any power that she had from the Bible to construe it to like completely and totally control everyone in the family. And I'm the fourth of 5 children. So she controls our lives very, very strictly. Oh, there's a drink.
There we go.
And she isolated us. So literally the only people we knew were our family and the people we went to church with. And half of the people we went to church with was our family. So like we were homeschooled too. It's like no socialization at school because we went to school in our living room. And so we have very heavily indoctrinated young earth creationism, Ken Ham, Kent Hovind, all that stuff.
I hear they're fun at parties.
Oh, absolute blast. And so we that was my life. My life was, I was taught religion is everything because family was tied to religion, education was tied to religion, everything was tied to religion. But also mom taught us to be skeptical for some reason. Like she's so like
skeptical to a degree, I imagine.
Well, she's so like in the sphere, like so completely sucked into like all of this stuff that she legitimately believes. If you are being honestly skeptical, you come to the exact same conclusions about everything that she did. Part of that's probably the narcissism, though.
I would agree.
And so she actually taught us, look things up for yourself. Don't take people's words for it. Think beyond what you're being told. And so, like in church, we would be talking about something, and I would have a comment or I would have a thought. And no one had good answers for me. Like the first one, I was 10 or 11, and we were talking about like the crucifixion of Jesus and like how it dealt with sin. But they made it very, very clear you had to actively believe in Jesus in order to be saved. And I'm sitting here going, so what about like all the people in Japan for 1,500 years before white men showed up? Like they didn't know Jesus existed. Just like 1,500 years worth of Japanese people just instantly go to hell? And I realized later on that's actually a legit question. I think it's called like the fate of the ignorant.
You got me on that one.
And so like I asked this question to like, you know, the leaders in my church and, you know, my parents, and they were like, I don't know. It's like, you're 50. How do you not know this? I'm 10. Did you not have this question when you were my age? And so that and just different questions kept popping up like that, like just chinks in the armor. But you know, I was told and I was taught, just don't worry about it, ignore it. You're not supposed to understand. One of my mom's favorite lines was, "Don't worry too much about it. We'll know everything when we get to heaven. Like we'll know everything when we die. So just don't worry about it until then."
Pretty sure you stopped knowing anything. not know everything. I was like, if that was the case, then you know, geez.
Which, by the way, that's important. That is important later. But
okay.
So like, and by the way, this isn't just me. My siblings also have similar stories about like finding chinks in the Christian armor from what we were taught. But it's worse for me because I went to a Christian university. I've actually got my college ring here. I went to Lubbock Christian University. So if you know where that is, I'm sorry. And so I was like, okay, I'm at a Christian university. We have an entire Bible department full of people with PhDs in philosophy and theology and like, and, you know, biblical studies and, you know, Judaism and like ancient Jewish culture. If anyone is going to know the answer to these questions, this is going to be it. And so I get there and I'm asking these PhDs these questions of like, you know, the fate of the ignorant, or you know, the question of evil, stuff like that. And they don't have good answers for me either. And so it's like, what's going on here? So that's when I like started questioning a little bit. Fast and near. I'm getting things out of order. So second semester of college, I took a course called Old Testament Seminar, and he said it nicer than this, but basically the first day of class, the professor walked in and he said, "Listen, people, Genesis didn't literally happen. The earth isn't 6,000 years old. Get over it."
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
And I was like, hold up. There's 20 years of my life I was 18 at the time, so there's 18 years of my life just out the window. Please explain. But he did. He spent like the next 6 weeks of class going through Genesis and systematically breaking down the mythology of it. And basically he was like, Genesis is, I want to say the word is etymological, an etymological mythology. Okay. Basically justifying and like putting your kid to bed explaining things like, you know, why don't snakes have legs? They're basically lizards. Lizards have legs. Why don't snakes have legs? And they're like, well, the snakes did something bad way back when, and they got their legs taken away.
Just
like
one. Serpent, actually, not even a snake, but serpent, whatever the fuck that means. But hold on. So if he's negating this Genesis thing, then he's negating original sin.
Yeah, and that's a question that I had for him later on. I should probably turn this on 1 second. There you go. Now you can see my face.
Yeah. Oh, you can see it before. It was just dark and shadowy.
Yeah, I actually have my entire setup under my bed. This is my bed up here. So my room is very small. So I had to get creative. But yeah, he's negating original sin. He's negating like the entire reason why Jesus supposedly came down to earth, because Genesis didn't literally happen. But that was like just the beginning. Then he started talking about Exodus and how Exodus didn't literally happen and how it was Jewish propaganda.
Yeah. Well,
and how, like, you know, the Judges didn't happen. It was Judges is a historical mythology where it's like, this is basically like what it was like before the kings. It's a good thing we have kings now because we don't want to go back to that. Like he's going through and like completely deconstructing all this stuff that I grew up believing was literal. And so
I don't understand how that guy could say that, though. I don't understand how he could tell his class that original sin never happened.
I mean, he squares it in his head. Now, here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting switcheroo about my university. Everyone in the Bible department, old Earth creationists. Everyone who studied the Bible, studied ancient Judaism, studied Jewish mythology, all old Earth creationists.
Okay.
Half the science department were young Earth creationists. The professor who taught evolutionary biology was a young Earth creationist.
But he believed in evolution?
No. He taught evolutionary biology. He was accredited and he's accredited and able to teach the class, but he would undermine the lessons as he was teaching them. He would talk about evolution and then give the creationist counter argument. And I'm sitting here going, that's not how you teach a thing. Like, you don't teach astronomy and then teach the flat Earth counter argument to astronomy
or astrology.
That's not how that works. So that's just a really weird juxtaposition that the Bible department were old Earth creationists who believed in billions of years and evolution, and the science department were young Earth creationists who didn't.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's face it, it's bizarre to deny the mountains of evidence for that anyways. So,
by the way, hello, Mr. Producer Guy. How's it going?
The kitchen is not burned down, so
I'll take that as a win.
It's a good start. The rice isn't done yet, so I was like, okay, I'm done with the stove stuff. Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
You got a rice maker?
We have a Instapot. We just do the rice in there. Those rice cookers are like $100.
Yeah, I know, they're not cheap.
I was like, what? It's just rice, man.
I know, but worth every penny.
I can't. I can't.
Good rice is worth it. Good rice is worth it.
No, you guys are both right. You're both right. But
so that was my second semester of college. My third semester of college, and by the way, at this point I also got because Flat Earth was actually really big because this was 2017. So Flat Earth on YouTube was really big, and I found a bunch of people debunking Flat Earth, like Godless Engineer was doing it a lot back then. Yep. Sir Sick was one that I watched a lot.
Yep.
And and I was watching these people and their arguments, and I'm like, these are the same types of arguments that people use for Christianity. They're not as well constructed because it's for Flat Earth, but it's the same build. And even though my professor had been the Genesis didn't literally happen, I was still a Christian because it's old Earth creationists are a thing. It's fine. I can still be a Christian and not believe that Genesis had to literally happen. I'll square that peg. It's fine. Because I thought that I had this whole other wealth of argumentation for Christianity that I could fall back on that wasn't necessarily science-based. Mm-hmm. But then I started listening to, Sir Sick and Godless Engineer talk about these bad arguments for, the Flat Earth, that I'm like, these are the same arguments that I've heard for Christianity all my life. Just words are different. These are the exact same thing.
Yeah, same playbook.
Yeah, same playbook. Same playbook. And so all of a sudden, this whole breadth of argumentation that I thought I had suddenly didn't exist. And I'm like, well, heck. Then, and that was over the summer, right?
Yeah.
The next semester, I started taking my first proofs class because I got a math degree. And so in order to get a math degree, you have to take 3 proofs classes. And this was the first out of the 3. And it basically taught you basic logic and like how to form a good argument and how to find a bad argument. And it took me like a solid month to like actually understand how to form an argument and like how to create a proof, because my entire life I had been taught start with the conclusion and work your way backward. Yep. And so I kept trying to do that with these math proofs. I kept trying to start with the conclusion and reverse my way back to the premises. And I kept not being able to do that because that's not how proofs work.
That's not how math works. Anyway.
That's not how math works.
I was banging my head against the wall for like a solid month, trying to understand how these proofs worked and like wrap my head around the thought process and the way we did proofs. But once it finally clicked, it was like in there solid. And so I would go back to church, or I would listen to my parents, or I listen to other people in like my Bible classes with this new perspective on how to do an argument. And I was like, how can I believe this? Like, how does this even, I don't even get it. I don't even get it anymore because my paradigm had been shifted because of that proofs class.
Right.
Got some critical thinking in there.
Literally, like, there's something else. I'll get to that in a bit. But I was at work one night, like thinking about the Bible and like thinking about like God, Jesus and God's commands. And by the way, my high school ring actually has a Bible verse on the inside of it. That tells you that I actually believed this shit. And the Bible verse is see if I can get the light on here so I can read it. It's been a while. Yeah, Matthew 22:34 through 40, and it's the primary command. Love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. On these hang all the law and the prophets. I can still book, chapter, and verse you. And so
there's no need.
I won't know if you're right or not. I'll just go, okay.
So someone in the comment section fact check me. And so like I was thinking about that, and in the context of like the alphabet mafia, like the gays and the LGBTQIA plus community, and I was like, okay, so it's okay if 2 guys live together, that's fine. It's okay if 2 bachelors live together, like 2 unmarried guys living together, no one's got an issue with that. It's okay for 2 people to live together, 2 guys to live together for a very long time, and it's not a bother to anyone. But as soon as the peg goes in the hole, all of a sudden that's the issue. The romantic relationship could be entirely the same. The financial relationship could be entirely the same. It's only whenever the sexual comes into it that there's a problem.
Yep, seems to be.
And I was already kind of progressive on like the idea of like sex really doesn't mean that much. It's more of a form of affection in a relationship than it is like a definition of a relationship. Right. And so I was like, well, why is that the hiccup? Why is that the hang up? Why is that the issue? And so I came to the conclusion that if Jesus' words to love your neighbor as thyself is really true, and like, being gay is really just you love each other and there happens to be sex involved, which I mean, that's basically most relationships, like most romantic relationships, that's how that goes. Then there has to be a contradiction in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And
pretty much most people don't have sex with their neighbors, though.
I was about to say, who hasn't had sex with their neighbor? Am I right?
Okay. So I'm also poly, so I've got a bit of bias on that.
Fair enough.
Black parties are different around the infidel. Put your keys in the bowl, everybody. Let's do this.
So, like who hasn't looked at their neighbor and went, yeah, I tap that.
Me?
See the way you're putting them cans out, Larry.
Pretty sure my neighbor's wife would have an issue with that. And he'd probably have an issue if it was the other one too. So,
and be so upset.
And so it was that moment where I came to the conclusion there might be a contradiction in the Bible that like actually shattered my worldview on Christianity. As a demisexual, you have to disagree. Yeah, valid. I'm a hypersexual pan. So like I understand you, but like I don't understand you.
Demisexual, yeah.
Anywho, that was like what finally like shattered everything. Like ever since I was a kid, like I'd been poking holes in it a little bit. Then I got to college, and more holes were getting poked in it. And then like the argumentation was starting to fall apart. But like it was that moment when I realized there might be contradictions in the Bible that finally finally shattered everything. And 6 months later, I was at Faceless Forum 2019.
2020 or 2021.
Well,
were you at the first?
I was at the 2019 Faceless Forum. I did not look like this. I looked like the straightest straight boy because repression, but
fair.
But going back to the beginning, so like that's like the religious side of it. But there's also the educational side of it, where I'd already, because I was homeschooled and I was taught to actually be curious and be skeptical. And because I was homeschooled and I lived in the age of the internet, fortunately, I had a lot of freedom in like what I could study. And being what I thought I was a boy, being a straight white boy in a conservative household in West Texas, I was very, very interested in weaponry and wars and weapons technology. And so that was my study regimen. I would look at history and technology through the and like politics through the lens of military history and military expansion. And that was just what I did. And I got through, Greece and Rome and like the Middle Ages and got through the majority of America. And then I got to World War II. And I got really interested in nuclear weaponry and aircraft. And through that, I started going into like, oh, hey, Meat.
Meat was my last guest, actually.
Yeah. I started going to like quantum mechanics on like the nuclear side, and then going into astronomy on like the airplane side, because like as soon as World War II was over, we started like dealing with like rockets and the space race and stuff, and like jet engines and like so much cool stuff. And so I started studying astronomy and quantum mechanics and relativity, and I started realizing the universe can't be just a few thousand years old. Like the science is there. It can't be a thing. No. But like I said, I repressed it and like shut myself down. Like even though I was learning all this stuff, I was like selectively deciding what I was accepting and what I wasn't. Like I was actively disregarding pieces of science that disagreed with my religion.
Now, what do you say to yourself now? What was I thinking, kind of thing, or because
Well,
How do you
given how
selectively-
heavy the indoctrination was, I'm not
evidence?
surprised.
Well, okay, all right.
And like, you know, one thing that really helped me was the SciShow channels on YouTube, because they would talk about, you know, biology and like, you know, how things evolved. I was like, okay, I agree with like the cool factoids, but that's, you know, things didn't evolve. So like I would like watch a video and like agree with half of it, then ignore the other half. And that was how it was back then.
I remember I was in like middle school or something like that, and that was right in the middle of the indoctrination camps and all the other bullshit I had to go through. And
I actually never went to a church camp.
Well, it's not that bad if you little and you're stupid, with no critical thinking of your own. But then like on Discovery Channel, like they had found like that. Remember that old skeleton, like Lucy or whatever it was, like that. Yeah. So that they had like a whole Discovery special about it. I was like, look. See, Dad, they found the da-da-da-da. And he was like, oh, yeah? Does it say that in the Bible? I was like, oh, no. Okay.
Of course not.
But here's me, stupid me. I was like, oh, okay. Stupid Discovery Channel.
And just to tell you, like, how anti-science my family was, my mom is a young Earth creationist, so you know, obviously, young Earth, no evolution, but also client denialist, and anti-vax.
Climate denialist and anti-vax.
Yes, the whole.
Wow.
And she also, unironically, she told me this to my face, like completely serious. She believes that cancer is caused by a fungus.
Oh no,
not even joking.
Not the Candida shit. Yeah, that like the Jilly juice. Is like
oh fuck me!
Oh no, I made Neil facepalm. I'm sorry, double facepalm.
You gotta drink your cabbage water to kill the fungus, and do it with a bunch of salt, like a year's worth of salt, and that'll kill the fungus. That's actually the cancer. There is no cancer.
Fuck me.
Maybe after the stream.
B's sending me texts now just to get some fucking coins going.
There you go. Happy? There you go.
Yeah, do a couple. Yeah, there we go.
That's enough. You guys have had enough. Don't want you guys overdoing it.
Wow.
So yeah, and like whenever she told me this, I asked her why, and she said, "Well, your sister had cancer, and then she got better." Once they started giving her antifungals, because she had a yeast infection in her chemo port. So they started giving her antifungals to take care of the yeast infection, and then she got better. So literally post hoc ergo proctor hoc. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you can paint a car after it's been in a car accident, but that doesn't really change the fact that the car's been in an accident.
Nope.
So yeah, it's just... So that was my science teacher for my entire childhood.
Good Lord.
Oh, no.
I know, right? Because you know, homeschooled, she was my teacher for all my classes.
Did she teach you stuff like evolution, and just say
nope.
This is what they want you to believe? Or
nope, not even. She she told me that plate tectonics was a lie. She told me that, yes, she said that the Earth was made this way as it is right now with all the continents where they are, because the Earth isn't old enough for plate tectonics to happen yet.
Well, at least she's not one of them small Earth people where there's people that think the Earth was smaller and has been growing, and that's why the continents split apart.
Yeah, she's not one of those.
Okay.
But like she literally believes that there was a glass dome. Not glass dome, an ice dome, solid ice around the Earth that cracked and melted, and that's how we got the flood.
And the Night King's on the other side.
Winter is coming, Jon Snow. The firmament always cracked me up. I'm like, wait, pieces of it fell down.
And then melted in the atmosphere and turned into rain, apparently.
So the firmament's gone?
Now,
So now I can go into space.
yes. And so that was my education, but fortunately, and this is the one thing Mom did right. This is, and I mentioned this a little bit ago. She taught us how to teach ourselves, and then like kind of go off. And she taught us to be a little skeptical, and she taught us to be inquisitive, and to like do our own research, and just not believe what people tell you blindly.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But I believe that her skepticism meant if it didn't align with the Bible, be skeptical.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the only way.
But I was young and dumb and took that to heart and actually started being skeptical and looking for my own stuff, and I'm trying to figure stuff out on my own and my own education. And through high school and into college, I kept doing that more and more and more. And eventually I was like, I'd been repressing so much because of, I thought that the earth had to be young. Otherwise it couldn't be Christian. Like you had to be a young earth creationist or you weren't a Christian.
Majority of them don't think that though.
I know that now. I didn't know that back then. And then I took that Old Testament seminar class where they were like, yeah, the earth isn't young. Jesus isn't literal. Get over yourself. And so once that dam broke and I could actually start believing all this information and all of this stuff that I had learned over the past 6 years or so, the world started making a whole lot more sense, for one. And for two, it allowed me to put more trust into science, and it basically accelerated my deconversion as far as the science and education was concerned.
Dave, you're not allowed to tell jokes anymore.
Banned. Joke banned.
So
It's kind of good.
I got to ask you something. Jamie, does your mom know that you're an atheist now? Oh, sneaking in one of them enchiladas, were we?
So she does.
Okay.
But here's how I told her, because I couldn't just tell her. I don't know what she would have done if I just walked up to her hey, I'm an atheist.
Give me a hug.
So I went through my entire college career, almost all of it an atheist. My first year, I was a Christian. First half of the third semester, I was a Christian. After that, I was an atheist. Didn't tell Mom the entire time. But when I graduated and when I finally got a job, which I live in the DFW area now, but I did live in West Texas. So it's 6. Yeah, you could definitely do a bingo card about my mom's level of crazy. Yeah, not wrong. So I now live 6 miles away from her. Mm-hmm. Or 6 hours. I don't want to say 6 miles. 6 hours away from her.
That's a very slow mile.
That's a slow vehicle.
1 mile an hour.
And so whenever I left, I literally wrote her a letter to her and my stepdad that listed out hey, I'm an atheist, also trans, or there you go, also trans, also pansexual, also polyamorous, also a socialist.
Did they heart attack and die right there?
And also, I never liked Coke. I always liked Pepsi.
Oh no, that's sacrilege.
Yeah, so that's the one. I don't even know you anymore.
I don't drink anything. Who gives a shit? I don't pick the. If they have Coke, fine, I'll have a Coke. If they have Pepsi, fine, I'll have Pepsi. If they got Dr. Pepper, even better.
Yeah, no Pepsi. Pepsi is no. If you bring Pepsi into the house, you're not coming into the house.
According to student Dr. Ben, it's Pepis. See?
Yes, the Pepis. I know that. I get that reference.
Oh Lord. But it's very tribal in the South, Neil. You don't understand the Coke Pepsi fights.
They have cows. They have cars.
Staggy wants to be friends with you. And I recommend
You
Staggy
can gladly be friends with me. Hit me up on Twitter.
No, Stagger's not on Twitter anymore.
Oh, hit me up on Facebook.
I don't even know if he's on Facebook.
Hit me up on Discord. I'll give you my number. Something.
Just
I
send
like
a raven.
friends.
Send a raven.
Yeah, send her a raven. Yeah.
Ben, I will
Okay,
trash
I'm
talk your
making a
Pepis
joke.
until the cows come home, and I don't have any cows.
It's gonna be a long time.
Oh, don't worry, Ben will be in the after party.
Good.
I'll set up some boxing gloves for the both. Well, you remember Ben was at Faithless Forum, the last one.
Okay, they do have Discord. I actually do not remember.
Oh,
Faithless Forum was an absolute blur. Like so much fun, but so much.
Lot going on.
A lot going on, yeah.
We had fun.
More socialization than I've had in 2 years. Thank you, COVID.
Just an overload of people, real people.
Yeah, but it was so much fun. Like everyone there was cool.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Although I have to apologize to everyone for my horrible karaoke. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, what did you sing?
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
What did you sing?
I sang "Your Man" by Josh Turner.
I'm looking for a new producer. Apparently mine's not coming back.
To be fair, it didn't matter what you said. I already had the joke set up in my head. Like, no matter, you're gonna be like, and I will always love you, and I'm like,
What? Don't do anything like that.
oh, it's all right, Neil. People just turn on you sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
They just turn on you. What can you do? They just betray you.
Yeah, I feel it.
Now that's just up until my deconversion. That's not including like any of the deprogramming that I had to do. That's not including like finding out that I'm trans, because I didn't know that for another year and a half.
Okay.
Like I didn't know I was trans until like after Faithless Forum 2019.
All I can tell you is from seeing you at the last Faithless Forum, your fucking fashion sense is on point.
Thank you. I was actually planning on like doing my makeup up a little bit for this, like doing some eyeliner and shit.
That'd be cool.
But traffic happened and I got here literally 10 minutes before the stream started. So no makeup today. I would barely even had time to shave.
Just get your ring light, and then we'll make you the big screen. We can do like the whole tutorial. I see it on Twitch all the time. It's a very big thing.
I don't know if I could do like makeup tutorials because like I don't even know what how to describe what I'm doing. I'm just like I'm just gonna like try to make this side look like this side and hope it works out.
I'll put the paint on both hands and just smear. Got it. Nailed it. Where's your phone at, Neil? Because I can barely hear him.
Oh, right here.
All right, because it's real low. I'm just saying, in my defense.
What? Hang on. In my defense. Hang on here. I can crank it up. There you go.
There we go. I can hear them already.
Yeah.
Hello, Firebrand Atheist. Hello, B. Hello, Ollie. Student Dr. Ben. Stags. Wonder Lady Faye.
Now something I have to say is that throughout all of this, I had an absolutely amazing partner. We've unfortunately broken up, but I had an absolutely amazing partner at the time who stood by me through all of university, who stood by me when I came out, who stood by me when we whenever we started thinking about polyamory, when I said I was pan, when I said I was trans, like 100% of the way. Absolutely amazing. And even though things are obviously different between us now, we're not dating anymore.
Oh.
They were exactly what I needed when I was in college, and I am so grateful to them. And they don't watch your channel, but I hope that this somehow finds them because they helped me a lot.
They don't watch much. Not everyone's up for what I do, so it's quite all right. You can't appeal to everybody.
I don't
my
watch
channel
the
is
show either.
Quite neat.
I don't watch it either. I don't have time.
That's because you're in it.
Right. So I'm not going to go back and watch it. So I never watched the show.
Who wants to hear their voice on record, right?
Oh no, not me. Neil has a good. See, Neil, you have a good voice. You like the sound of your voice. I'm like some henchman's like body like sidekick. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm the driver.
Hey, they made an entire movie about getaway drivers.
yeah. I've never seen that.
Did they? What?
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Actually, it's a really good soundtrack. It was worth a watch.
All right, let me see. Add to the list.
What, you got a list going now?
Everyone gives me such good ideas. I have to just like them on whatever, or add them to like your list or whatever for whatever the platform is, or else I'll never remember it. You don't have to lie. Why the lie? I know my voice sucks. I don't need y'all to fluff me up, make me feel better.
Fluff.
Oh no, it's got Kevin Spacey.
I don't know why I did that. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh. But by the way, I actually set this camera on a specifically for this. If you look, you will see all of my World War II books from my conservative stage. You will see all of my religious books from my Christian university, and then down at the bottom, there's all of my textbooks and notes from university as well. And then there's my Rick. That entire shelf is just Rick Riordan books. Like, it's all fantasy, but it's all Rick Riordan. I have like all of his books.
I was about to say you skipped a very colorful shelf. I want to know what's on now. Now that I'm not being told, now I have to know.
And I finally found the book I was supposed to have when Jackson was on the fucking show. The rocks were there.
Neil was not having it. He's like, I have the book. It's somewhere around here.
Well, it's a great book, but just so you know that Jackson and Rulin really get to know their stuff. This much of it is the book. This much of it is their references.
Damn. It's impressive.
Yeah. Jackson's a good guy. How did they take all that when you told them about being trans and being pan and being atheist? Like, how did they deal with that? Like, did they?
Well, I already knew because they've gone through. We've gone through this with all of my older siblings. I have 3 older siblings. Mm-hmm. When the oldest went to college, she started dating an atheist, and parents went ballistic over that. Second oldest went to college, became an atheist. Parents went ballistic over that. Third oldest went to college, started dating an atheist. Parents went ballistic over that. And they are no contact with the oldest 2. They are only in contact with the third of us because she's actively hiding a whole lot of stuff from them to make sure that she still has a relationship with the youngest of us, because he's still living with my parents. And so she's like deliberately playing extra nice so that she can still see her brother. So like I knew exactly how this was going to go down because they've done this. They've done the song and dance before with things that weren't nearly as drastic as mine. Right. So I knew how it was going to go down. Whenever I dropped the note off, I knew the text that was bound to show up. And sure enough, it did. And the first thing they did, like literally the beginning of the message, was my dead name. Because I told them in the message, that's not my name anymore.
Right.
I don't like that name. I go by Jamie now. Jamie is my name. And I signed it, Jamie, they, them. And the first word of the first message they sent when talking to me about this was my dead name.
Oh, Jesus.
Clearly
Like,
not understanding the letter.
Obviously, you like they're like, oh, we love you. You know, we just want what's best for you. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, you don't. You don't even have enough respect to call me by my chosen name, which is funny because I've changed my last name too. I mentioned earlier that it was my mom and my stepdad. I changed my name, my last name, from my birth dad's name to my stepdad's name. And they were totally cool with that. They're like, oh, you want to change your name? Great, we hate him too. And so I changed my last name from my birth name to what it is now, and they were all on board. Because in their mind I was sticking it to someone they didn't like.
Right.
But when I changed my name from my dead name to what it is now, with my first name, because I'm doing it because I don't like my first name and because I'm trans and I prefer Jamie because it's more gender neutral.
Yep.
They're not okay with that because they don't like why I'm doing it. They're not. It's not the name change that they have an issue with. It's the reason I'm doing it, and they respect me enough to be supportive when I'm doing something they like, but they don't respect me enough to be supportive when I'm doing something they don't like, even though it's the exact same decision.
It's almost like your
good old Christian hypocrisy.
It's almost like your parents are supposed to love you, even if they don't agree with you. I don't know. That is me. But I was under the impression, calling me crazy.
Well, you would think that, and although this is far from the truth, parents' love is usually unconditional.
You would think.
Well,
it's supposed to be.
I don't think you can have unconditional love. I think there's always conditions, but I think the closest we come are animals, our pets. That's about as close as we come, to be honest.
It's like, they shit in my shoe again. It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, how they feel toward us, I think is
Zero is a turncoat. Turncoat. Every year for Halloween, he always tries to leave one of the trick-or-treaters. I'm like, hey, get your ass back here.
But they've got candy.
I'm going to play with the neighbor. No, you bring your ass back home. You got no costume.
So, it looks like there's about 10 minutes left before the mainstream is done. And I really want to tell this story because it is a story of the last the last church service I ever went to.
Ooh,
and it is my favorite story to tell.
Okay, let's hear.
Proceed.
Set up. I've already figured I've already figured out that I'm an atheist. I've already figured out that I was trans. This was October 11th, 2020, and I remember the day because it was my mom's birthday.
Oh.
And so it was me, my little brother, my mom, my stepdad, and my grandmother on my mom's side. So there was 5 of us. And mom decided for some weird reason that for her birthday, she wanted to go from Loveland, Texas to Midland, Texas to see a preacher give a sermon.
How far is that?
About a 2-hour drive.
Oh, hell no. Too far.
So she wanted to sit in the car and look at nothing but oil wells and farmland for 2 hours to see this person give a speech in a pulpit. I don't get it, but that was what she wanted to do for her birthday. I wasn't no contact yet, so I was like, fine, I guess, whatever. It's your birthday. I'll be nice. And now I dressed like as androgynously as I could. Like I shaved, I put foundation on. There people are sitting in coins now.
I know, they're going insane. Cool out over there.
Yeah,
that's my shirt. That's my 3rd shot at this point, by the way.
This story's about to get good. But
we were going down there, and like again, this was right before the elections of 2020, and my family massive Trump supporters. Like, I already told you that they were evolution deniers. So telling you that they were COVID denialists shouldn't surprise you. So massive Trump supporters going down to this church Sunday morning, and the entire way down, they're talking about how Biden's a socialist, how how awful socialism was, talking about the gulags from Russia being socialism, and the
not communists.
Yeah, not communist. Well, to them it's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
And like talking about North Korea and Mao Zedong in China is like how awful socialism is, and like talking about all these death tolls. I mean, at least they got the numbers of the deaths right. I mean, that's something. But just trash talking socialism the entire time, and like I just tuned out because like I don't care. I'm not gonna get hate crimed on the side of a road in the middle of nowhere, West Texas. No thanks.
Pass.
So I just got my mouth shut. But every once in a while, I would tune back in and look at what they were talking about. And a lot of the times, the problems that they had, like the issues that they had, weren't with socialism. They were with capitalism. Like a lot of times, they would be saying something. I'm like, that's a capitalism issue. You don't have that under socialism. I don't know what your problem is.
Did you say something or
no? I don't want to get hate crimed. I just got my mouth shut. I was just like basking in the irony, right? We get to the so instead of like talking about God or Jesus or the Bible, like you should be doing on a Sunday morning, like focusing your mind on the Holy One or whatever the fuck.
That's
no, they were bashing socialism the entire time. We get to the church. And I meet the preacher there, and I comes to find out that the reason she wanted to see this preacher is because this preacher was a friend of family. Now, the way he's a friend of family is that my great grandmother, so my mom's mom, smuggled him over the Mexican border when he was 5.
Okay.
And all of them were talking about how Trump needs to build the wall.
But, he's in here. He's already in here. So, yeah, I guess now the wall.
And how, so they're talking about how horrible the illegals were and how awful they're destroying America. And I did say something here. I was like, wait, didn't you come over here illegally? And he was like, well, yes, but I'm legal now. I got my paperwork taken care of. And I'm like, can't they do that too? Like, well, why is it good for me and not good for thee?
Jamie,
like,
that's way too logical.
Hello, Goose. Have you met Gander?
So, I just like after I said the one comment of didn't you come over here illegally? I just like didn't say anything and just like let the irony sit.
He wasn't expecting you to know that.
Well, no, they were talking about it beforehand. They were talking about how my great grandmother smuggled him over. Like, my mom and my grandmother were patting themselves on the back. Like, she was such a good, because like she had died a couple months earlier. Like, she was such a good woman, such a godly woman, taking care of all of these lost kids from Mexico, bringing them over for a better life. I was like, you realize that if she'd gotten caught, she would have been prosecuted for child smuggling, right? Like human trafficking. Like that's a thing that she would have gotten caught for. Yeah. So that's before even the sermon even starts. We start the service, and the singing is which this is my own pet peeve about the Church of Christ. They always sing their songs like it's a funeral dirge, no matter how peppy the song is. Well, like there's a really like one of my favorite songs back then was "Everybody Will Be Happy Over There." Like that's the tempo. They sing it. Everybody will be happy. It's like, pick up the pace, people. Anywho.
We're putting you back on caffeine, Myrtle. Your organ playing is dragging us all down.
Thanks to Amit for the $5 super chat and the awesome comment.
So that's my own pet peeve. But then the sermon starts, and the sermon starts the same way I've heard a million sermons start, especially in an election cycle. And that is, if God takes care of the birds of the field and clothes the flowers or birds of the air and clothes the flowers of the field, how much more will he take care of his children? And I'm like, okay, I've heard this before. Don't worry about it. God's going to take care of it. Whoever wins the election, God's in control, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm ready to tune out for half an hour and just glaze over. But
Nap time.
that's not where that was only like part of the situation. He shifted it. He that was the beginning of the sermon. But then he kept going on to something else, a twist that I had not heard before. He goes, but God expects something else from you in return. And then he says, and I quote, and this is an idea that is alien to the modern left. He says that you have to work for what you have, that God will provide everything, but he expects you to be happy, expects you to be active in the kingdom, helping people, taking care of the sick, taking care of the homeless, helping others. And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think that's as alien to the left as you think it is. But then he kept going, and he said, but he doesn't just want you taking care of people outside the church. He needs you taking care of people inside the church too. If you have extra, if you have excess, if you have more than you need, and you see a brother or sister that doesn't, give to them what they need. Give them what they need. Help them out. It is your job as a brother or sister in Christ to help people in need when they need it. But also, if you are in need, don't just expect things to come, because quite frankly, we're human, we make mistakes. Come to the church and ask for help. If you need it, if you're in a hard time, we'll help you out. And that was basically the lesson. And so I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. So basically what you're saying, what is it? To each according to his need, from each according to his ability, redistribute the wealth,
yes,
and create social safety nets.
And also buy all the toilet paper from Walmart.
Are you sure that you're a Trump supporter? And like, I am literally in the pew trying not to laugh. Because I'm in a room full of Trump supporters in the middle of nowhere, West Texas.
Nice.
Where I just heard my family bash socialism for 2 hours, and then I sit down in a pew and I listen to someone reconstruct the basis of socialism from the pulpit.
Better than me. You are better than me. I'm like, all right, just let me out. I'll walk. It's fine. This car's going slow as hell anyway. You drive like shit. Let me out. I will walk.
And so I'm just sitting here going, like, none of them get the irony. No one gets it. Everyone's like, good sermon, Pastor. I loved it. You really made me think. And I'm trying not to stand here and go, welcome to the fifth column, comrade. I'm trying to stay undercover here. And it's really hard.
Mr. Usher, when do we get our brown jackets? I'm just waiting for the brown jackets.
And then we go to lunch with the preacher after the service.
Uh,
Oh, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. And the subject obviously turns to COVID. And so that's a conversation during during lunch, and then after lunch we're driving back home for 2 hours, and we're still talking about COVID, and we start talking about the vaccine. And my parents, being anti-vaxxers, were like, we don't need the vaccine. We just need everyone to get COVID and get natural immunity.
Yeah, no.
And I go, wait, you do understand, if every single person in the United States got COVID, not even in the world, just the United States, if everyone in the United States got COVID, that means over 2 million people are dead. 2 million graves. And then my dad, or my stepdad, who on the way up was talking about how horrible these socialist regimes were for their body counts, who just got out of church, who calls himself a Christian, says, and I quote, "So who cares if a couple million people die? I don't want to get the vaccine."
Whoa.
That is a very honest and monstrous answer.
COVID is just a fungus. So
Careful with the COVID jokes. YouTube is not very forgiving in that department.
Yeah.
So don't careful what you type, guys. But it's funny because like the only people that like at my job, the only people who have gotten COVID are people who are unvaccinated, and out of 200 something of us, it's 50 people, and the 50 people that didn't get vaccinated are the 50 people that got sick. And then on top of that, like imagine if everybody got COVID at once. Like
ain't nothing happening for 2 weeks.
There's nothing happening. So like why would you want the world to shut down for just a flu? Well, that flu is going to disrupt your entire I love capitalism mindset when the whole world is brought to a screeching halt because 50% of the people are at home sick.
Yeah. Now, a couple of things. Number one, whenever he said that, I knew I was going to have to cut contact. Up until that point, I was like, yeah, they're in the Trump rabbit hole. But I mean, they've always been weird conspiracy theorist bullshit people anyway. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, they're not going to like the fact that I'm trans, but I'm sure I can deal with it and have some sort of relationship with them. Whenever he said, I would rather 2 million people die than get a shot in my arm, I knew that I was just going to have to completely cut contact with them.
Yeah.
COVID is a socialist virus. But a second note on that story is that 2 months later, 2.5 months later, in January, he got COVID. And he was like, oh yeah, it's fine. Just a really tough flu. I'll get over it. Turns out that he did get over the flu or get over the COVID just fine. But then he got bacterial pneumonia because COVID had torn up his lungs so much. And that sent him to the hospital. And he already had COPD.
Oh,
and so the extra damage that the COVID and pneumonia had done to his lungs, he is now permanently disabled on oxygen.
Wow.
Even though for the entire time that COVID has been around, so March to January, the entire time it had been a pandemic, I'd been telling them, hey, here are the symptoms. Hey, here are the side effects. Hey, there's a 1 in 5 chance that you're going to have a long-term permanent problem from COVID. Sure, you only have a 1% chance of dying. You got a 20% chance of something permanent happening to you from it. And they never listened. They didn't care. They would rather listen to Orange Man than they would their child, because apparently the bankrupt business mogul who can't run a country knows more about science than their child who's literally going to college for mathematics and science.
Like, how do you bankrupt a casino? You got to be a special kind of stupid to fuck up a casino. They come in, give you money. You take the money. That's end of. Take the money. Somehow found a way to screw that up. That's crazy. One of my pod mates is a personal trainer, and some of the people that he trains have gotten COVID just through family meetings or through their jobs or whatever it is, and they can't work out anymore because their lungs are so screwed up from the virus. And
even if it's not your lungs, COVID can also mess with your heart. My great-grandmother, the one who I said died a couple months before the story happened, the reason she died is because she got COVID and it weakened her heart so that eventually she died of heart failure, 2 weeks after she got COVID.
That sucks.
That's crazy. So everybody go get vaccinated.
Yeah. Please
Exactly.
get vaccinated. If you've only gotten 2 shots, if you can't get the 3rd one, I'm triple vaxxed right now. So please get all put that into my veins, please. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I just took a peek at my Bitcoin because Staggerson was talking about that. I'm actually making some money on one of them, but Bitcoin itself is down right now. But
Yeah.
oh well. Anyway,
I figure I'll wait till you guys make a lot of money, and then I'll just like hack you and take it.
Yeah, you could do that. Sure,
That's easier.
I've made over $200 already. So
Well, congrats.
yeah,
Right.
it's a slow thing, but it's just something to do. I had an extra few $100 to throw into it. So excuse me.
Yes, Evangeli Carol. He is on a socialist disability program. Despite hating socialism. Also, speaking of which, growing up, we were 7 people living off of 1 teacher salary, and so we very commonly were on food stamps.
There you
It's
go.
a socialist program, and yet my mom hates socialism, even though she was on food stamps for 20 years.
Until it works for her, right?
Taking it out of protest.
And
Look how
she's
stupid this is.
she literally said, "Well, I'm different because I finally got off of it."
Oh,
And you're the only one.
No.
You're the only person in America on food stamps who finally gets off of it. Really. No, my parents did not change their mind because they had been anti-vaxxers since the MMR vaccine, so they're still anti-vax.
Wow.
measles, mumps, rubella.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's why
Thanks,
that's probably why they
$5
homeschooled.
for me. Well, Jamie, what do you say we actually take all this conversation into an after party?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell that story as like
absolutely.
the end of it because it's my favorite story to tell as far as like religion and politics and all of that is concerned because it's a perfect amalgamation of like all of the weirdness that goes on with my cult of an ex-religion.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Then yeah, that's a great one too, by the way. To show exactly that. But I also want to say, first of all, before we close out the interview, thanks so much for joining me for the show today.
No problem. I had a lot of fun.
Great having you. Yeah, well, it's going to get even better.
Good.
Because the after parties are a lot of fun. Still working on the what do you call it, the swag for that sort of shit too. Like the merch is the word I'm looking for.
I was
Yeah.
like, swag.
It's like, yeah, man. Well, we're gonna have all kinds of shit like the hashtag coins, beer cozies, and glasses and stuff like that, and the T-shirts that say "I survived to kneel the 604 after party," and
Barely.
stuff with logos on you, barely. But yeah, thanks everyone in the chat. I hope you guys had a good time tonight. I know that there is and this is important too. There is other streams going on too, which you're welcome to go over to. Well, you're welcome to. It's not like I rule YouTube or something, but you can go over there
You have
and
permission.
support. Check it out for a little bit and support our friend, very, very good friend. One of the first people I met on the whole YouTube atheist community thing, Diana, also known as the Lavender Lady, who is getting the kidneys worked on. So they're doing a GoFundMe to raise funds for that, for her to get her kidneys fixed up. So head over there and donate if you can. I'm going to throw a little bit in as well, probably tomorrow when I get my payday tomorrow. So yeah, it's always good when I got the extra cash to do that. And Diana being a great friend, I have no problems in throwing some cash to help that out for sure. And unfortunately, I learned I can't donate a kidney. Otherwise, I'd be up there doing it. But I tried to do it for a friend, but they turned me down. Yeah, well. But yeah, thanks everyone in the chat. And also thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing. And you're the reason why I can still do this show. So thanks for all you do. I appreciate it all. And Randolph and I are starting True North Talk very soon. We're just waiting for the finishing touches on the studio. Hoping probably maybe this spring we'll get the first episode running out. So head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca and you can learn more about the show there. And don't forget that myself and Mikey here has been on a couple times, and many other great folks are the new hosts of the revamped and relaunched Nonprofits, which is an ACA product that runs between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience on Sundays at 3 p.m. Central. So don't want to miss that one. I was supposed to be involved on recording it on the 15th of this month to be aired on January 2nd, but unfortunately I won't be around. I have other things I have to do family-wise, so I can't do that episode, but I'll pop on again eventually. The last Saturday of every month, my friends Andy and Seamus and myself get together on Andy's channel, Laughing at Disbelief, and do a little fun show called Atheist Drinking Out Loud, where we poke fun at shit and stuff. And we always have a guest with us, so it's a lot of fun. Get a little drunk mid-afternoon and completely take out your rest of your Saturday. It's always amusing when I have to do a show that day too. So
it's a long day, man.
I know, right?
We had like 1-2 weeks where I did like all the same shows with you, and then my shit on top of it. I was just like, it's Saturday. I've been drinking since 10 o'clock.
Shows up and his eyes are X.
It's Saturday. I've been drinking since Wednesday.
Wait, you're supposed to stop.
Work was so boring.
Anyways, guys, that's it for the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There are many ways to help out the show, and I got all the links below. And don't forget that I got all of Jamie's links below too, so you can stalk her on Twitter and YouTube and stuff.
Just
and Facebook.
Don't expect anything on YouTube for a while. It's been dead for like a year and a half, although I am going to try to start putting content out come the new year once I get a new motherboard.
There you go. Whoa. Hi, Shannon.
Oh, hey, Shannon.
By the way, I know it was it yesterday? It was happy birthday, Shannon Q, by the way. I know it's a couple days ago, or yesterday. But happy birthday, you wonderful human being, you.
Oh, she's trying to co-op Amit's birthday.
Right? We missed you at Faithless Forum. Like, everyone was asking where you were, just FYI. But we're going to do the after party. So anyone who would like to get involved, pop in and say hi to Jamie here. This wonderful person, Jamie, who I got to meet in person. Now, I guess the second time, because I don't really remember meeting you in 2019.
Well, I was there, but I stuck by Cirrus the entire time. So
I remember. Yes, because Cirrus and I we dueled actually on Duel Links. Which
really?
Was funny. Yeah.
Yes. So
I kicked his ass, by the way.
I don't think you. If you remember me, you're probably going to remember my jacket. It was a dark blue waistcoat with a police public call box around the back of it.
Yes,
that was me.
Yes.
No fashion back then. No sense of style at all.
That's very Doctor Who-y.
One of my favorite shows, but like still, like no fashion sense. Boots and jeans and a t-shirt and a Doctor Who coat. Like... And natural hair, like brown hair. Who?
Hey, mine's going gray, so you know. Shannon remembers you.
You remember me?
Probably
I'm surprised.
Shannon's a massive Doctor Who fan too, so
I did not know that. I expected people to remember my girlfriend because. Don't speak. I'll speak a little bit. Just I expect people to remember my girlfriend because she was wearing a tail the entire time. Like she had a tail hooked to her shorts.
I remember that too.
Yeah, I expect people to remember her, not me.
Should have borrowed the tail, Jamie.
And next year.
Yeah, well, your fashion sense this year was amazing. I was like, I wish I could dress like that.
I'll give you some pointers.
You got this, Neil.
Gone are those days for me, my friend. Gone.
It's all about confidence, Neil. You just walk in there like you're supposed to be
like a vampire. Yeah, I like the frilly shirts and the vampire fangs in all the time. And yeah, it was back in the day. Anyway, I can spot a TARDIS in a crowd. Yes.
1 second, Shannon.
Oh,
here we go.
The jacket makes its appearance.
There it is. Whoop! There it is. Whoop! There it is. Oh, I love the Gallifreyan little wheels and shit there.
Oh yeah. And then On the inside, it's the TARDIS Van Gogh.
It's bigger on the inside, isn't it?
Obviously.
I hate this. I hate this.
Thank you. This is actually my favorite jacket. My sister got it for me at a Hot Topic. I've had it for 4.5 years now.
It's
Still
amazing.
to this day, my favorite jacket.
It's amazing.
Very warm.
All my jackets suck. Well, I do have the Canadian tuxedo jacket, by the way.
So everyone's just gonna pull out their fancy jackets now.
I got a black hoodie in here.
just-
That's all I got.
Just because I said it's a Canadian tuxedo jacket doesn't make it fancy. Because there you go. Yeah. All right. Let's wrap this up and get to have a little fun in an after party. I can probably go for a couple hours, but I'm pretty tired today, guys. I had to get up. I couldn't even sleep in to go to the hospital to get all my my blood work for and an MRI and an X-ray and an ultrasound and whatnot for the whole blood clot issue.
Are you expecting you getting ultrasounds?
Yeah. Well, except they were checking my leg. I'm like, that's not where babies are. But no, they were checking my leg for the. By the way, it looks from what I gather that it's shrinking and getting smaller. So that's good. And I'm actually getting blood flow a lot better in that leg now. So, and I didn't die on the airplane going to Texas, so that's pretty cool.
You'll be running marathons in no time, Neil.
Yeah, no. No, the fat in my gut right now just went,
We ain't
Hold
going
on.
on no marathon.
Hold on, Mikey. You have an Akatsuki jacket?
I do. Who told?
Amit.
Oh, meat.
I mean,
Now you're gonna have to go get it. I got my jacket. He got his. Oh, you got to go get yours.
Oh man, look at him, called it. There you go. There it is. Look at this big nerd.
He's about to fireball jutsu Amit. Just watch.
I got my Shikamaru t-shirt on.
Do I have to put my Spider-Man on?
Why are we? Can we do the after party? I'm not putting on any more clothes.
It's too fucking warm in here. God damn it.
I'm just waiting. I'm just killing time.
My pits are going crazy. You're like, put the jacket on. Put the jacket. Like, oh, please don't. Set this jacket on fire. I'm burning up in here. All right, Neil.
Oh yeah, Shannon's actually right. The other Canadian tuxedo jacket is what we call a Storm Rider. It's a jean jacket. It's got the tan corduroy collar. It's called the Storm Rider. All right, let's do it. Let's get in the after party. Thanks, everyone. And like I always say at the end of the interview, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we will see you guys next time.